You're standing in a crowded ER when the room splits open with a sound you'll never forget. Crack. Every head turns. A supply cart skids across the floor, bandages and syringes raining like confetti you wish you could unsee. The surgeon in the designer tie, Dr. Adrian Keller, is breathing hard, chin lifted like the room belongs to him. The nurse he just struck, Nia Carter, doesn't cry. She doesn't even blink twice. She sets her jaw, touches the blooming fingerprint on her cheek, and smiles. You feel the air tighten. 50 people freeze. Then the phones come up, yours included. Red record dots bloom around the room like warning lights on a cockpit panel. How many times do I have to say it? Keller snaps, voice carrying over monitors and beeps. Know your place. Nia had suggested a different protocol. Calm, professional, the way you wish every shift went. Her reward was a back-of-the-hand lesson in hierarchy. Now he nudges the toppled cart with the toe of his expensive shoe, like the mess is her fault for daring to speak. Across from you, a nursing student, Sophia, is already live. We're at Riverside City Medical Center, she whispers to thousands. Did you see that? He just hit her. You shift to get a clear shot. Patients whisper. Family members stand. An elderly woman's son holds his phone higher, steady as a tripod. Someone mutters, "That's assault." Someone else says, "He can't do that anymore. We're not in the 1950s. Nia doesn't look at the crowd. She looks at Keller, eyes level, breath even. Her hand slips into her scrub pocket. You catch the glint of a metal badge edge, the buzz of a phone, a rhythm in her composure that feels practiced. Security appears, radios crackling. The charge nurse begs for calm. An attending nods along with Keller, talking about medical authority and chain of command. You've heard this speech before. Tonight it sounds like a smoke alarm everyone's choosing to ignore. Over the nurse's station clock, 8:58 p.m. Your feed shows hearts and comments spilling like a waterfall. Call the news. Tag the board. Protect the nurse. Keller lifts his phone. I'm calling administration. You're done here, he says, jabbing the screen like a trigger. I won't have insubordination in my department. That's when Nia finally speaks. Soft, measured, aimed straight through him and into every lens in the room. Before you make that call, she says, ask yourself one question. Keller pauses, thumb hovering. What question? Nia's smile widens just a fraction. Are you absolutely sure you know who you just hit? You feel the hairs rise on your arms. Security glances at each other. The charge nurse blanches. Sophia's viewer count surges. 5K, 6K, 7K. The ER doors burst open. Patricia Ross, the hospital's administrator, strides in with Chief of Security Evan Salazar. They scan the toppled cart, the raised phones, the red mark on Nia's cheek. Dr. Keller, Ross says, voice like a gavel, did you strike this employee? He squares his shoulders. A minor incident. She challenged position authority in front of patients. That's not what we filmed, someone calls out. Salazar leans to Ross, voice low but urgent. Ma'am, we may have a problem. She's VIP flagged. Ross's eyes flick to Nia. Flagged how? Nia's phone lights again. She answers on speaker, calm as a surgeon. Hi, Dad. I'm safe. We're in the ER. The room stops breathing. You watch Keller's face shift from arrogance to something you haven't seen on him yet. Fear. Quick favor if you're with Nia so far. Drop respect in the comments to push this story to more people who need to hear it. The next 60 seconds change everything. The ER feels like a live stage now. Dozens of phones up, red record lights steady, and you can feel that buzz in your chest that happens right before everything flips. Patricia Ross, the hospital administrator, steps in with sharp heels and a sharper tone. What in God's name is going on here? Her eyes sweep the chaos. Spilled instruments, frozen staff, one nurse with a burning cheek. Dr. Keller straightens his tie, slipping effortlessly into the voice of authority you've heard 100 times before. Just a misunderstanding, Patricia. This nurse became combative and you hit her, says someone near the door. It's a patient's son, still recording. His phone catches the red mark on Nia's cheek like a spotlight. We all saw it, you watch Patricia's expression tighten. She's calculating, trying to decide whether to defuse or defend. Before she can speak, the security chief, Evan Salazar, moves closer. His voice is low but urgent. "Ma'am, I need a word. It's about her." Patricia frowns. "Her who?" He leans in. You can barely hear it, but you catch fragments. Flagged employee. VIP. Family protocol. Patricia's eyes widen. "You're sure?" "Yes, ma'am. Positive." Before the administrator can ask another question, Nia's phone buzzes again. She looks at the screen and then, without hesitation, answers on speaker. "Hi, Dad." Every sound in the room dies. Even the monitors seem to hold their beeping breath. Nia's voice is calm, steady. "Yeah, I'm fine. A situation in the ER. Don't worry, I'm handling it." You see Patricia Ross's face go pale. She glances at Salazar, who just nods grimly. Dr. Keller blinks twice, confusion bleeding into dread. "Wait," he says, forcing a laugh that doesn't land. "Did she just say—" "Yes," Patricia cuts him off. "That's Director Carter's daughter." Phones flash. Someone whispers, "You're kidding." But the security chief shakes his head. "Employee Dardo 1001. That's her." Nia finally breaks her silence. She pulls her ID badge straight, the cracked plastic still hanging from the earlier impact. You can see it clearly now. Nia Carter, RN, MSN, employee number 00001. Family of Director Keller's arrogance evaporates. His lips move, but no sound comes out. You swear you can see his pulse jumping at his temple. "Dr. Keller," Patricia says evenly, "you just struck the director's daughter on camera, in front of staff. And patients." The ER erupts in murmurs, phones still rolling. Nia tucks her badge back into her pocket, finally speaking with that same eerie calm. "You called me just a nurse. I prefer Chief Carter's daughter. But tonight, you can call me your biggest mistake." Sophia's livestream counter hits 8,000. Comments explode like fireworks. "This is unreal. Plot twist of the century." "He's done." Keller stumbles back, voice cracking. "I didn't know. She never said—" Nia interrupts softly, eyes locked on him. "You never asked." Patricia's phone rings. It's the director himself. She answers with trembling hands. "Yes, sir." She's safe, and yes, everyone saw it. And right there, you realize it. This wasn't just a slap. This was the spark that's about to burn down the whole system. The elevator doors open. Patricia gestures. "Miss Carter, the board wants to see you. Now." Nia nods, turns to Sophia. "Keep recording." As the doors slide shut, the sound of phones buzzing fills the silence Keller leaves behind. His career just ended, and the world hasn't even seen the full video yet. You follow Nia and Sophia through the hospital's long, fluorescent corridor, the kind that hums under bad lights and old secrets. The live stream is still rolling. Comments flood in faster than anyone can read. The elevator opens to the executive floor, all polished wood and sterile quiet. It's like walking into another world, one that's never seen blood or panic, just policies and power. At the head of a long mahogany table sits Dr. Leonard Carter, Nia's father, the hospital director. His posture is carved from authority, but his eyes, those give him away. Worry, disbelief, pride. Maybe, hiding underneath. Around him, 12 board members stare at the scene as if someone dropped a grenade in their boardroom. And they kind of did. Nia stands straight, hands folded in front of her. "Before you ask," she says, her voice cutting through the silence, "I'm not here as anyone's daughter. I'm here as a nurse who was assaulted by a senior physician on duty, in front of patients, with witnesses and recordings. You can almost feel the temperature drop 10 degrees. Dr. Carter's voice is controlled, almost too calm. "Are you injured? Physically?" Nia touches the fading red mark on her cheek. "Barely. Professionally. That depends on what this board decides tonight." The board chair, Patricia Ross, clears her throat. "Miss Carter or Nurse Carter, what exactly are you alleging?" Nia doesn't flinch. "I'm not alleging. I'm presenting." She connects her phone to the big screen. One tap, and the ER footage floods the room. Keller's voice booms from the speakers. "Know your place, nurse." Then the slap. The sound echoes through the boardroom like a gunshot. Several board members look away. Someone mutters, "Jesus." Nia keeps going. That's not an isolated moment. It's the climax of 5 years of documented bias, harassment and abuse, recorded, dated, and filed under your noses. Slide after slide appears, incident logs, HR emails ignored, anonymous complaints filed and closed without review. The board members exchange looks, each more uncomfortable than the last. Then, the kicker. Nia switches to a new slide titled Legal Exposure and Financial Risk You Lean In. She's done her homework. Civil rights lawsuit. Estimated payout $3 million. Federal audit risk. Immediate suspension of Medicare funding. Social media fallout. Riverside racism trending in 4 states. Insurance exclusion. Intentional acts void coverage. Every number is a bullet. Every bullet hits. Patricia whispers to the director, "This is catastrophic." Nia, calm as a surgeon, "No, Patricia, it's overdue." She brings up one more slide. 2 choices. Option A. Suspend Dr. Keller, initiate full reform, independent audit, zero tolerance policy. Option B. Downplay it, face lawsuits, lose accreditation, and destroy this hospital's name. Dr. Carter finally speaks. "You've been documenting this for years." "Yes," she says, meeting his gaze, "while earning my master's, while working double shifts, while being told to stay in my lane. I did. I stayed in my lane and built the evidence that will save your hospital." The boardroom is dead silent. Nia glances at Sophia's camera, still live, still streaming to 10,000 viewers. "The world is already watching," she says softly. "The only question is whether this board chooses to lead or to hide." One by one, the board members nod. The vote is unanimous. Patricia turns to Nia. "Effective immediately. You're in charge of workplace reform. You'll have full authority." Nia exhales, slow, steady. Then the real work begins. Quick favor if you're still with her. Hit like if you believe power should never silence integrity. The door opens, and the sound of leather shoes cuts through the tension. Dr. Adrian Keller steps in, trying to mask panic under arrogance. His white coat is spotless, but his face isn't. Sweat gleams under the boardroom lights. You can feel the silence tighten around him like a noose. He scans the room, the director, the board, the nurse he hit. He forces a laugh. "All right, what is this? Some kind of performance review? Patricia, I didn't realize we were turning workplace gossip into board meetings." Nia doesn't move. She doesn't blink. "Sit down, Dr. Keller." Her voice is calm, but it carries the authority of someone who has seen the mask fall off powerful men before. He smirks. "You're giving me orders now?" Dr. Leonard Carter's voice slices the air. "You'll listen to her, Adrian. She's leading this review." That hits him. You see the flicker of realization, his eyes darting between father and daughter. "You can't be serious," he scoffs. "She's a nurse." Nia's hand slides across the table. She presses play. The ER footage appears on the big screen again, his voice booming through the speakers. "You ghetto nurses need to know your place." Then the slap, the gasp, the chaos. Keller's jaw tightens. "This is out of context, and Nia's voice is razor sharp. The context is 50 witnesses and 10,000 live viewers. Dr. Carter folds his hands, his tone calm but deadly. "Adrian, you assaulted an employee, used racist language, and created a public relations disaster that's now trending worldwide. There's no context that saves you." HR Director Lisa Park steps forward with a file thick enough to break a table leg. "Dr. Keller, this is your personnel record. 47 complaints over 3 years. Most dismissed for lack of evidence. Until tonight." Keller's bravado cracks. "This is insane. Leonard, we've worked together for years." "You know me." "I do," Dr. Carter says, eyes cold. "That's why I'm more disappointed than surprised." Nia taps a new slide on her screen. The title reads, "Immediate Termination Protocol, Level 3 Violation." Her voice doesn't shake. Effective immediately, Dr. Adrian Keller is terminated for physical assault, racial harassment, and breach of professional ethics. He slams his hand on the table. "You can't fire me. I'll sue this hospital." Nia leans forward just slightly, her voice low enough to cut deeper. "Please do." The discovery process will make this video the most viewed lawsuit in the country. The board chair nods. Security will escort you out, Dr. Keller. Your medical privileges are revoked pending state review. He looks around, desperate, but every face is stone. Even the walls feel like they're watching him. Keller turns toward Nia one last time. You set me up. She shakes her head slowly. No, doctor. You set yourself up. I just pressed record. Security leads him out. The door clicks shut behind him. You can almost hear the weight of the moment settle. The end of an old order. Nia exhales, opens a new folder on her laptop, and projects the next slide. The blueprint for reform. Now, she says, looking around the table, let's fix what he represented. If you're still watching, drop a in the comments to stand with Nia, because this is where justice starts. Not ends. The boardroom is still humming from the aftershock of Keller's downfall. His seat sits empty, a silent monument to arrogance undone by truth. You can feel the energy shift. The fear that once filled this room is turning into something sharper, cleaner. Resolve. Nia steps forward, her laptop glowing against the dark conference table. Dr. Keller wasn't the problem, she begins, her voice steady, deliberate. He was a symptom. The disease is cultural. And I have the cure. You feel the entire room lean in. She clicks the next slide. On the big screen, bold letters appear. Phase 1. Immediate response. 24 hours. Termination of. All pending harassment offenders under review. Crisis communication statement to press and public. Zero tolerance memo distributed hospital-wide. Emergency staff meeting before morning shift. This, Nia says, is the first antibiotic. The infection stops here. Dr. Leonard Carter folds his hands. And the next phase? Phase 2. The foundation. 30 days. The slide fills with details. Body cameras for high-risk zones. Anonymous reporting apps. Third-party audits from the Civil Rights Coalition. Mandatory bias recognition training for all staff. Every department head, she continues, will be accountable for documenting culture compliance. Every incident report must be answered within 48 hours. No more silence. No more sweeping problems under the rug. A board member, Dr. Ellis, clears his throat. This will cost millions. Nia doesn't flinch. $3 million to fix what ignoring has already cost us 12. She flips to the next slide. Phase 3. Cultural overhaul. 180 days. Words appear one after another like hammer strikes. Bystander intervention certification. Civil rights partnership. Oversight. Staff empowerment councils. Transparent public reporting. Her tone softens slightly. We won't rebuild trust with statements. We'll rebuild it with visibility. Everyone from janitorial staff to surgeons will have a voice. Because when people feel heard, they protect the place they work in. The board chair, Patricia, sits back, visibly impressed. You've been planning this for a while, haven't you? Nia nods. 5 years. Every night I was told to keep quiet, I wrote policy drafts instead. Someone chuckles softly, half disbelief, half admiration. Dr. Carter breaks the silence. This will change everything. That's the point, Nia says. If the system doesn't change, the next Keller is already waiting in the wings. You see her open another document labeled Projected Outcomes. 80% drop in harassment claims within 1 year. 35% increase in staff retention. $50 million in reputation recovery and funding. Highest national workplace satisfaction rating. The numbers are powerful, but it's her closing line that locks every eye in the room. You can't train empathy, she says quietly. But you can design accountability. For a moment, even the air seems to pause. The board members glance at each other and, one by one, nod. The motion passes. The reform begins, and as the cameras fade, Nia exhales for the first time in hours. Not victory, clarity. She whispers to Sophia beside her, "He thought the slap was the story. He had no idea the reform would be the revolution. If you're still watching, drop. In the comments if you believe reform starts with courage." Morning sunlight spills through the glass atrium of Riverside City Medical Center. But the air isn't calm, it buzzes like static. News vans crowd the parking lot. Reporters shout questions over each other. Camera flashes strobe through the lobby like lightning. You scroll through your feed. Every headline is the same. Doctor slaps nurse on camera, then learns she's the director's daughter. Riverside Hospital under federal investigation. Nurse turns the tables on racist physician. Inside the hospital, staff gather in the auditorium for an emergency all-hands meeting. The same hallways that once hummed with quiet routine now carry a pulse of anticipation and fear. At the front of the room stands Nia Carter. The bruise on her cheek has faded, but it's still visible. A mark of truth no concealer could erase. Cameras roll. Every major outlet is broadcasting live. Dr. Leonard Carter, her father, steps to the podium first. His tone is formal, measured. At 9:47 p.m. last night, Dr. Adrian Keller was terminated for cause after assaulting a member of our staff. This hospital will no longer tolerate harassment, racism, or abuse in any form. Applause ripples through the crowd, soft at first, then louder, building into something electric. Then Nia takes the mic. "This mark," she begins, touching her cheek lightly, "isn't shame. It's proof. Proof that silence ends when someone decides enough is enough." You can feel her presence fill the room. Every nurse, every orderly, every resident who's ever been belittled stands a little taller. "For 5 years," she continues, "I documented every ignored complaint, every snide remark, every threat disguised as protocol. I did it because someday I knew the truth would demand a witness. Last night that witness was all of you." She gestures toward the cameras. "And now it's the world." A reporter shouts from the back, "Ms. Carter, are you pressing charges?" Nia nods. "Yes, but not for revenge, for accountability. Dr. Keller's actions reflect a system that looked the other way too long. That ends today." Her tone changes, stronger now. "From this moment forward, Riverside will be the blueprint for reform. Cameras in every high-risk area, anonymous reporting that guarantees a response within 48 hours, and leadership that answers to the truth, not to title." The audience erupts. Nurses cheer. Some cry openly. Even a few doctors stand, clapping. Nia smiles, not with pride, but with purpose. "If you're watching this online," she says, looking straight into the lens, "and you've ever been told to stay silent, don't. You deserve respect. You deserve safety. And your story matters." Her father places a hand on her shoulder, his voice soft but proud. "You turned pain into policy, Nia, and the world is watching." Outside, the press swarms. A young reporter says into her mic, "What began as a viral scandal is now shaping into a national reckoning." You can almost hear the hashtag trending again, "Cheers Justice at Riverside." But Nia's eyes aren't on the crowd. They're on the staff, her people. "This isn't the end," she says quietly. "This is just Act 1 of real change." If you're still with her, drop in the comments to stand for every worker who ever stayed silent. Let's make their voices heard. The headlines haven't stopped. Every morning, every station, every scroll of your feed carries her face. Nia Carter, the nurse who said no more. But what the cameras don't show is what happens after the storm. The rebuilding. It's been 3 weeks since the slap that shook the hospital. Redmore City Medical is unrecognizable now. Hallway posters that once showed sterile slogans. Efficiency, protocol, precision, now read respect, equality, accountability. You walk past nurses wearing small silver pins that say, "I speak." They're not just symbols, they're promises. In the conference hall, Nia leads a team of 40 staff members, nurses, janitors, interns, and even a few doctors. They're gathered around a whiteboard covered in sticky notes, drafts, and timelines. "This," she says, tapping the board, "is the real fight. It's not about revenge. It's about reprogramming the culture that allowed silence to feel safe." Her voice carries authority now, not from a title, but from truth. She's not just a nurse anymore. She's a reformer, a force. You notice one of the younger nurses, Elena, speak up nervously. "What if they don't take us seriously?" Nia smiles. "They already do. They just don't know it yet." Outside, film crews document the Riverside model, a reform system Nia designed that other hospitals are now requesting to copy. Calls are coming in from New York, Chicago, Atlanta, administrators wanting to learn how she did it. In one interview, a journalist asks, "Nia, how does it feel knowing you've changed the industry?" Her reply? Calm, centered, powerful. I didn't change it. We did, every nurse who stood up, every staff member who refused to be silent. This movement isn't mine, it's everyone's who ever whispered enough. Back inside, the board meets again. Dr. Carter presents quarterly metrics. Staff morale up 40%, turnover down by half, patient satisfaction at an all-time high. The data is undeniable. Patricia Ross leans forward, impressed. You turned a scandal into a standard, she says. Nia replies softly. No, I turned pain into policy. The boardroom applauds. But later, alone in her office, Nia watches an old security clip. The slap, the chaos, the silence before she spoke. She pauses the frame right before her response, staring at the woman she was just weeks ago. You can see it in her eyes. Strength built from scars. Her assistant knocks. CNN wants you live in 5 minutes. They're calling it the Riverside Reform Revolution. Nia stands, adjusting her badge. It's not a revolution, she says quietly. It's a beginning. As she steps in front of the camera, her final words echo across the airwaves. Power doesn't corrupt. Silence does. And I'm done being quiet. The feed explodes with messages, hearts, fire emojis, and tears. Riverside reform trends across 3 continents, and in that moment, you realize this story stopped being about a slap long ago. It's about every voice that refused to stay unheard. If you're still here, type change in the comments, because the next act will show how one woman's stand becomes a global movement. Months pass. The world has changed in ways even Nia couldn't have imagined. What started as a single moment of injustice caught on a hospital camera has become a global movement. Your Riverside Reform isn't just a hashtag anymore, it's a policy. Hospitals across the country are adopting Nia's model. Transparency audits, body cams in high-risk zones, zero-tolerance policies for workplace discrimination. Her name has become shorthand for accountability. News anchors call it the Carter effect. But behind the spotlight, Nia remains grounded. You see her walking through the same ER where everything began, the same sterile lights, the same faint hum of monitors. Only now, people greet her with genuine respect. A new nurse, fresh out of training, stops her in the hallway. You're her, right? The one who spoke up? Nia smiles. I'm one of many who finally did. The young nurse hesitates. I almost didn't apply here. I thought hospitals were all the same. Nia places a reassuring hand on her shoulder. They used to be. Now, they're changing, because we decided to stop being silent. As she walks away, you notice something different about the hospital. Laughter replaces fear. Collaboration replaces competition. Diversity is no longer a statistic. It's alive in every conversation, every shift, every face. Then, one morning, Nia's phone buzzes with a message from the UN Health Commission. Congratulations, Ms. Carter. You've been selected to lead the Global Initiative for Healthcare Equality. She reads it twice, blinking back tears. Her father, Dr. Carter, steps into her office, pride shining through his usually stoic face. You've gone from the ER to the world stage, Nia. Your mother would have been proud. Nia's eyes soften. This isn't about me, Dad. It's about everyone who ever whispered, this isn't right, and finally got heard. That night, Nia steps on stage at the International Health Conference. Thousands rise to their feet as she approaches the podium. The lights dim, a single spotlight illuminating her. She begins slowly, her voice rich with emotion. Once upon a time, I was just a nurse. Invisible, unheard, surviving inside a system that mistook silence for respect. But silence is a wound, and it heals only when you speak. The crowd leans in. I didn't start a movement. I started a conversation, and that conversation belongs to you now. Wherever you work, whoever you are, speak. Because one voice, no matter how small, can start an earthquake. Thunderous applause fills the hall. Cameras flash. Nia steps back, eyes wet but steady. Later, as she walks off stage, she pauses, looking out at the crowd, at the nurses, the doctors, the students, all holding signs that read, "Respect heals." Courage is contagious. The same words appear across social media in hundreds of languages, thousands of posts. You realize then, Nia's story didn't end with justice. It began with change, and as her voice echoes one last time, it feels like she's speaking directly to you. Never let silence be the loudest voice in the room. If this story moved you, hit like, share it, and comment Respect Heals to spread the message, because every view helps one more person find their voice.